Live. Gramps live on Saturday night. Man, trying something new tonight. I actually moved over to Restream instead of StreamYard because they actually had a Black Friday sale and saved me about half the annual cost. So I was able to upgrade to the ability to be able to add another camera and stream with this camera in 1080p. So I hope it looks as good now. This ain't gonna help none of the factor, but I hope the stream actually looks and sounds better. Everybody give me a thumbs up, sound check. Let me know that everything's looking and sounding all right. And let me know what you think. I'll give you guys a second and let you drop some comments while I go back through and say, hey, what's up to everybody? Saw Bass Face Fishing in the house. John Battani's in the house. See Josh Lanham. See, we got, oh, wait, I need to get over here. I'm in the wrong section. I don't know why Restream's not showing me any chat. I don't get it, but I think I may have to do this a little differently. It doesn't show me in the chat. You guys let me, oh, maybe here's something I need to do. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing, there we go. Okay, now I am seeing the comments from YouTube. I'm actually streaming to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And now I can actually see the comments coming in from YouTube. So there we go. So I'm going to go back over to the other stream and finish doing all the shout outs. We got Scott in the house, Lil Tommy, Scott Fuller, Jason Beck Fishin, Fisherman 83, Michael Bradley, Frank Duche, however you say it with your French or not, I'm not sure. But hey, we'll take a chance. Frank says he's got his voice back and hardly coughing at all today. That's good to hear. There's Jeremy in the chat. Now we're going. Now it looks like I'm starting to get some feed into the stream. See my cousin Brian in the house. Welcome, Brian. Good to see you in here. And let me see if I pop this and hit show. Is it going to? All right, now I can actually show and see the peeps. Excellent. We're getting there. You're going to have to give me a stream or two to get all the kinks worked out. And that's, what we're going to work on. See, we got Tom Brewster in the house. And hopefully from now on, I'll get all of the comments coming in. I see our good friend Sly Fox is in the house too. Looks like Restream is just a little hair behind showing me the comments in the Restream interface versus the YouTube interface, but that's okay. We'll just keep motoring on through. But everybody, if you guys say it all looks good, sounds good, we are going to be good to go. I saw our good friend Liza in the house. Hey, guess what? I'm going to be down in your neck of the woods the weekend of Christmas. That's right. Grant and I are flying into Tampa on Thursday, and then we fly out again on Monday. So, yeah, looking forward to my first trip to Florida ever in my life. Oddly enough, I've been to every other state in the nation, and I don't know how many countries around the world. But hey, first time going to Florida, so. Yep, gonna be able to actually get down there, and it won't be my last time. But I'm really glad to have my daughter back down in Florida instead of up in Atlanta. I love me some Atlanta Braves baseball, but the city itself, I used to live up there too, and I would rather she's in Tampa. All right, looks like we got everybody else in the house. Ruben's here. Liza's here. I see our good friend Matt OEF5 is in the house. Excellent. Well, let's kick it off a little bit. Man, I didn't do a whole lot this week. I got one video out for a review that I've been wanting to do, and I got several other rod and reel reviews coming up. Again, touching into playing with some of the higher-end stuff that I played with at the National Championship. Going to be... going to go catch some snook in Tampa. No, I would love to get my ass into a big bass, but you know how that goes. Our good friend Samet Searcher is in the house. Bob Brown is here. Excellent, from Alabama. Gotta love it. So I got my Bassmas tree up right back here. Oh man, right over here, and I forgot to turn the lights off. Let's do that real quick. And of course, you can't have a Bassmas tree without having, your Christmas party gone bad frog going on over there. But, my lights ain't going to come on this time? Come on now. Really? I just checked these batteries earlier, make sure our Christmas tree would light up. Oh, well. Anyway, there's a Christmas party gone bad, Frog. So, you know, that's been our lone decoration. I'll have to make sure we get that fixed up by the next time we come back live. But the reason why I wanted to point that out is because Gran went and got me a little present to put on our Christmas tree. Come on, camera, you know what to do. There we go. So we got a little bass to put on our Christmas tree. So Gran hooked us up there. So we'll have that on by the next live because it is the season. And then I was watching Hellabass live stream. I think it was Friday maybe. And he was pointing out a Christmas fishing ornament. And, this has actually got hooks on it because I didn't think it did when I actually bought it. But he actually pointed it out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to support a small business and order one of these crankbaits. So let's take a look at this crankbait and tell me why this would be considered a Christmas ornament. Quit focusing on me, camera. Focus on the bait. There we go. There we go. Who knows what that is? Somebody tell me what that is. But this, I'm going to take the hooks off so the cats don't get into it. But this, that's right, Sly Fox has got it. Boom, the Little Debbie Christmas tree in a Christmas ornament. I was like, you know what? I am going to support Tacklecraft, the company that actually made this. Hello, camera. There we go. So Tacklecraft Custom Baits went ahead and hooked it up, and then that will be our third ornament for our Christmas tree. So I thought that was cool. I had to go ahead and support the small business and get it ordered. But now I need to put it back in here so my cats don't get into it before I get these hooks off and some fishing line tied onto it. So we'll get those up on the Christmas tree. Have it ready for next live. How's that sound? And the cakes are delicious. Well, cakes might be delicious, but you know what? I completely failed because I was going to have something pulled up to start the show with tonight that I'm going to go ahead and find and do real quick, because if you guys haven't seen this, you won't know about it. And if you don't know about it, you don't know what I'm going to be talking about for the next several weeks. So let me do my part and find the thing, and then we will do a little quick playing of the video. We'll talk about something that I've got going on, something a little special, and then we'll get our guest in here and get to talking. But first, I need to figure out where this got posted at. So let me grab it real quick. If you guys bear with me and chit chat up in the comments, I will find it. Come on, Facebook, go faster. I don't know why people keep posting that Alan Jackson has passed away. He has not. It's a hoax. Facebook, stop it. Oh, come on. There we go. So I'm going to pull up this live stream, and I'm going to get it.
Just wanted to explain it.
All right. So let me go back here and share the screen in Chrome tab, Facebook, and share this. And then I will quickly, I got two puppies down here wanting to wrestle at my feet, and they're going to bang on the table. So
in here so we can have a great discussion. Be a good time. Knucklehead bass fishing series, if you can catch 5.
So we're going to talk about the Knucklehead Bass Fishing League.
A little for sale.
Coming at the thing. Puppies, knock it off.
So I got for the event.
I'm way too far ahead.
On my YouTube channel that aren't kayak fishermen. And it's not just something. Let me run through the list first so that, you know.
All right, bear with me because
realized it was the first. And over the years, I think it's their job to get that money.
This is why I'm a sucky host, because I wasn't prepared.
Going to call. He said, "Oh, and you see me, I'll have lost 50 pounds." Hank, you're basically giving yourself a chance to win a kayak and paddle in a PFD. You know.
Okay, so we're going to talk about.
Are you thinking about offering
a contest
to, like,
that's going to be coming
teenagers
to
stuff too? I mean, that's a great chance.
Everybody.
So that everybody can win a kayak and a whole bunch of other gear, right? So bank fishing, kayak fishing.
Hook the fish.
It's going to be kind of like the Catch 22 was and the Catch 5.
I love it.
But instead of the KBF, they're going to have the knucklehead bass fishing.
The next thing we're doing is a weight loss challenge.
But here is what I want to talk about.
So with this weight loss challenge, I actually am calling somebody out because he was the one when he was down here for the Veterans Day get together for the fish camp planning session. Kind of threw it out there that we need to. We need to.
Let me go know in the comments if you guys can hear this.
Lost 50 pounds and this, that, and the other. And so I started my diet a little bit, got off of it tonight with Casey. We had some fries. And so tomorrow morning, I'm starting back my diet. I'm going to weigh in. We're going to build an event on Fishing Chaos. It's going to be free. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to do like a weekly weigh-in. And you're going to put the identifier, just like with a fishing tournament, on in front of your scale or on your foot or whatever, so that we know that you weighed in each
week. So you guys can hear him
and,
there.
Fishing Chaos is committed to creating a percentage calculator. It's not going to be there right out of the gate, but at first we're just going to do total pounds lost.
Like I said, guys, it's new software. I don't know, so you have to tell me.
It's a really good way to
because this is kind of important.
And heaven knows I did the divorce 40. You know what I'm saying? Where I gained back the kind of the 40 pounds going through the divorce, and now I need to do the divorce diet again.
75 hard again.
And it's always fun when you've got somebody to help hold yourself accountable. So I'm calling out JT Hickman. JT is Fishing with Gramps on YouTube. A lot of you guys know him as his name. Some of you know him as Fishing with Gramps. Most people know both. So JT, here's what I'm doing. You and I are going to have a one-on-one challenge.
All right, so we'll stop wasting time with that because, like I said, I didn't test it. I'm not going to keep torturing you guys because I don't know what it looks or sounds like. So we'll just leave it at this. I challenged Chad last time I was down there to lose 50 pounds by the next time we saw each other. So he decided to step it up a notch and have the guys at Fishing Chaos set up a weight loss contest in Fishing Chaos. So what we're going to do, and we're going to work with sponsors and get a bunch of prizes and everything up because, again, this isn't just about he and I. This is about, everybody who might want to, drop some pounds over the winter time to kind of get ready for spring fishing season, right? So the goal is we're going to stamp on our scales with a special identifier and take a picture just like we would if we were measuring a fish. So what we're going to do is, fishing in the Southeast. Come on, dude. When I was 17, I weighed like 140 pounds. I mean, it's just one of those things. But for us old farts, it's not that easy anymore. We don't have all that testosterone running around to burn up all the calories and everything you consume. It's a whole different life, especially when you're old and broken down. But the point is, Chad and I want to get through and be in better shape for the next fishing season because we both have goals and things that we want to do. So we found that this was going to be a fun way to have a little contest. And I'm Army, he's Navy. We're going to do our weigh-ins during the kickoff of the Army-Navy game. And then we're going to work on, work on losing, some weight. So now he wants to do a race to 50, which is fine, but I'm not just going to, and then we talked about this afterward, and we're going to, work on it because what we want to do is work towards being healthier. As you guys know, we promote Fish Ops, and Fish Ops has various meanings. And one of the meanings I'm bringing up with this one is, fish operation, proven strength or physical strength or something, but it's a reason for us to get out, be active, and start looking at living a better and healthier lifestyle. And so we're going to do this in the Army-Navy game, and we're going to work at this. And then this cycle will repeat because what both of us want to do is be under 200 pounds, and then we can work on really building muscle, being healthier, and doing a lot of things. For me, that's 114 pounds. So this is going to be something that I do over over the whole next year, most likely. So that is my goal. And I would love to be at that goal, but mostly it's not for me about the weight. I want to be healthy again. I want to be stronger again. Even with my bad bones and knees, I just want to be better. And so does Chad. So that's really why we're doing this, but we're going to have some fun along the way. And for those people who want to join in, I think it's going to be free. And he's going to work with the sponsors to put up a bunch of different prizes for whatever. Because again, if we did do something, it would be like a fundraiser for some, veterans charity event or something along those lines. But what he was also talking about was with KBF. There's KBF, the competitive side of kayakbassfishing.com, but he is going to have the KBF Knucklehead Bass Fishing League, and that's for all of you guys, right? So whether you're a bank angler or you're a kayak angler, you can get in on the action, and he's going to work with his sponsors so that we can draw and give away a kayak at the end of it all, and a lot of other prizes and everything. So it's really going to be something what we have coming on in the spring. So be ready for all that. We'll be talking about it a lot as we get back towards warmer weather up here in the Midwest, but it's going to be really, really nice. So again, those are some of the things that he and I have talked about and been working on. And, that's just something that we want to do as a personal goals, both get healthier and have a lot more fun in the kayak bass fishing community. So the reason why I bring all that up, you guys can go out to kayakbassfishing.com. Doesn't matter if you're in a bank, boat, kayak, whatever, and you can get a free membership and join in all these things that we're going to be doing here down the road come springtime. But again, we're going to be working with all of his major sponsors and get some cool stuff, but we want to get a lot more people involved because a lot of this is going to be going to benefit what we call the homeland heroes. So enough of all that. Let's get out and get on, and we're going to bring Jeremy in, and man, we have been waiting to be able to have him. So he's been using his phone for a bit, but now we got him set up with a little streaming setup, and we'll bring him in here. And what's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
All right. Glad to have you here. Looking good, sounding good. So you got a little monster bass wall going back there. So you got your paint station. For you guys didn't know, Jeremy I won't even say used to. Jeremy has made baits for years and got away from it for a while, but what you see over there in his right-hand corner is actually some of his artwork that he's using as like back spray areas, because this dude's actually got some skill when it comes to painting too. But man, what's up, bro? How you been today?
Man, it's kind of sad. I had to send my kayak home with you last night, and
yeah, you did. So for those who So Jeremy's complex doesn't like having his kayak hanging out the back of his truck, but it also stems from some guys there, I think, that have boats that park them like in the fire lanes and things like that. So I was actually up in Jeremy's neck of the woods yesterday because I was picking up a second kayak trailer that is actually going to enable us to carry 3 kayaks instead of just 2. So now with us having our hands on 2 kayak trailers, we can haul around a total of 5 kayaks. So when Freedom Squad is on the move, then we'll be able to tote some more kayaks around here in the future. So that'll be pretty nice. But, well, for those who don't know Jeremy, and for those listening on the replay later, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got started fishing.
I was thinking about that today, and my first memory of catching a fish was in France when we went to visit Mom and Dad's friends while we lived in Germany.
Yep.
And we fished a little stream with dough balls. But, then we moved back stateside and lived outside, out in the country down by Williams Dam. And every second, when my chores were done, I was fishing.
Yep.
And, so you remember as we was growing up on the White River with Grandpa, and then I went fishing with Uncle Gary a couple times out of his bass boat. And that's when it hit me. I was like, I'm going to do something with this. Fast forward, spent some time in the Army, got out, ended up in Texas, and you can't not get into bass fishing again. If you live in Texas, it's an unwritten rule. So I was blessed. We was able to get a boat. I got a nitro and started fishing in some of the club tournaments. And I found myself able in a position where I could fish 365.
Yep.
So I started guiding on Lake Louisville first, Ray Hubbard there in Dallas. And then I learned pork well enough that I started taking my clients there, and I did that for several years. Ended up coming back up to Indiana and pretty much gave up bass fishing.
Yep.
I hadn't fished for probably 15 years. And then, we started doing a little kayak fishing. And then when I ended up at the Dom, I wasn't able to go on the events that Heroes on the Water put out.
Now, real quick, for those who don't know, when you talk about a Dom, tell everybody what a Dom is. And I'm going to go kick these dogs. Be right back.
Okay, so the VA Dom, the VA domiciliary. It's basically a place for homeless vets that have either mental health issues or other kind of issues. It's a way to keep us off the streets and keep us from being chronically homeless. I kind of glossed over. I went through a whole lot of traumatic stuff to me, to the point where most of you who know my story, I was diagnosed with agoraphobia and didn't know how to accept it, didn't know how to deal with it, didn't even know what it was. And then things snowballed, went through a divorce a week after I got to the domiciliary. And from there, my life changed. And I've had some horrendous issues with the VA. But at the end of the day, they took care of the problem that they created with my arm. They also provided me the mental health side of things so that I could cope with my diagnosis, with the loss of use in my right arm. So when the
So let me cut you off real quick, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back up. So for those who may not have seen some of my older motovlogging videos, Jeremy was a military policeman serving at Fort McClellan, and that is one of the areas where they trained at was affected by basically poison neurotoxins from Monsanto in that area. And so over the years, as the toxins that settled into his system weakened his body and his immune system, as well as a lot of nerves, and that generated also a lot of mental instability issues because not everything was firing the way it should be. And it was literally 10 or more years because Jeremy didn't understand what was going on. So that you guys know, he's talking about that 21-foot nitro that he was hauling around. Some of the earliest indicators of it was he would get massive nausea, which, probably stemmed a lot from the anxiety caused by those toxic poisons. And so when he talks about, he got rid of his boat, he literally could not drive. He would have to carry a bucket to, throw up in case his anxiety got to him. And like I said, it was years before we really knew what was affecting him. So he ended up selling his boat and buying a house. And when he's talking about his time away from fishing, this is where a lot of that stemmed from. But at the time, he really had no idea what was going on. It wasn't until over a few years and all of these symptoms started adding up and getting worse and worse and worse that he actually sought help from the VA to try to figure out what was going on. And he was able to finally, get some treatment and started having actual people looking at what was going on with him so that they can figure it out and then start getting him some treatment. But like he said, that led to, divorce and things like that was going on and a lot of other issues. But then he was finally able to get help while he was at the VA domiciliary. And here's Gran with.
What your present?
Gran said she brought me a present.
That's for your walk.
So everybody knows that the state bird in Indiana is a cardinal, but my cardinals that talk to me are my friends and family that are up up with the Lord. And so cardinals have always been very special to me. So thank you, dear.
That's really
that's going to go on the tree. So now, for like what Jeremy was saying with the VA domiciliary, that's where he was able to start getting some help. So, Jeremy, while you're there, you guys actually had some visitors that were coming, and visiting you guys. Tell us about some of that.
Well, they had what they call recreational therapy, and they were allowed to go on golf outings, archery classes, fishing, hiking, bowling, just anything to do with exercise and outdoors, things that we just, did as kids, but then get away from. They encouraged it. And then when Heroes on the Water came, they took some of the guys out. And when the guys came back, having been taught a little bit about fishing, they were like, Jeremy used to fish. And so they would come and talk to me, and we'd get together. We found this awesome little lake that had some huge fish. One of my buddies, his first fish ever was over 6 pounds.
Can you imagine having your first bass ever be 6 pounds?
So here you have these guys that are, going through their own stuff, but they found fishing for the first time. And I got to help them and teach them about spinner baits and worms. And some of the guys, they were just as good as I was. I mean, it was really cool. But having gone through the Dom and them helping me understand kind of what I need to do to have a quality of life that I want, I had to go on medication. I had to exercise. I had to do things my therapist knows will be extremely hard for me, but it's better for me to do. Which brings me to all this, being on YouTube, being out in the public eye, fishing the national championship.
Yep.
These are all things that caused me to have debilitating panic attacks that I have no control over. So my safety place is my apartment with my service dog.
Yep.
For me to just leave to go to the grocery store is a mental challenge. Being able to drive again. I went almost 10 years not able to drive anywhere.
Yep.
So now it's called exposure therapy. And the theory is the more I do it, the easier it will become, the fewer panic attacks. But it applies to every aspect of my life. So going to a restaurant, I've done that once in the last 15 years. And that was down when we went to see Chad Hoover. So for me, kayak bass fishing is exciting and it's fun, but getting there to the lake, convincing myself it's okay to go, that I can make the drive, that I'm going to be okay when I'm on the water. For whatever reason, my brain, it talks to itself in a way that make excuses for going. Excuse me. So the reason that I'm doing, and we'll talk about this more, I'm doing this thing with Monster Bass, and it's really to encourage me to be okay with going.
Yep.
To the more I do it, the therapist said, the easier it will be. And so while it may take me a year or two, I know at the end of that, if I keep doing it, it'll be so much easier that then I can apply it to other areas of my life. And this to me is living. I wasn't living for a lot of years. So, yeah, what else can I say, bro?
I do understand completely. I can't tell you how proud of you I am and how good it is to actually have, my brother back and able to do things, because, For those of you who don't know, Jeremy's got a daughter. She's in high school, and he's the best dad ever. But to my kids, he's also the best uncle that a kid to have, that they can have, because they know they can always talk to him. They know he's kind of always been like the hermit in the cave, because, that's where his safe zone was. But, he's always there when, they need a call or talk or chat or whatever. And, the fact that he's able to get out now a little bit slowly at a time, and two people have been very instrumental in that over this summer.
I want to mention that, bro.
Yep.
OEF 5 guys, he has helped me unload and load my kayak. He's been there for me on the water. I wouldn't have gone near as much if it hadn't been for him. And then Bobby, Salmon Searcher.
Yep.
I love that name, by the way. When I met him and we became friends, and then it was just like meant to be. We had some things in common, and, getting to spend time and actually open up to these guys, I've never been able to do that. I've always been the one to keep it all in. Everything's good in the world. So as long as everybody else is okay, I'm okay too, until I wasn't. But I appreciate those guys, because it's given me the courage to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I think that you realize that there's a mutual respect, because each of them have their own issues. And, it's always good when guys, who are fighting various fights of the different nature, can get together and still support each other and feel free to talk and enjoy each other's company and build the friendships that we have. And so when we talk about Freedom Squad, that's exactly what we're talking about. Bobby likes to say, and we'll get into his story later when we've got him on. But like he said, there's always the freedom of your mind, because a lot of what's going on, mental illness is not a joke, but there's a lot of people who suffer from it who may not realize it or understand it. But what Bobby talks about, and where he hits me when we talk about Freedom Squad, is basically being free from your mind to go do these things. Like Jeremy says, he has to have a battle within just to be able to walk out the door. And it's one step at a time. But having other friends that have, the same but different issues, allows you guys and everybody to lean on each other and go do things. And I know that we're going to, keep building this up, and man, who knows? It'd be awesome if anybody else that's out there can see a way to follow kind of the little blueprint that we're doing, and just get together your little fishing groups and stuff like that too. I see where Bobby Casey was pointing. He says, I'm a vet in Southern Missouri, or not Missouri, Montana, I'm guessing. Always looking for other vets to fish with. I end up fishing alone during the week because nobody to fish with. So Jeremy Service Dog is actually trained. I found this out. He's trained to detect stress, and his job is basically he'll come up and give you a hug and, help you settle down. Because, Jeremy was pointing that out to me the other day when I was there. And he's like, oh, you got bullet triggered for something. So he's telling you that I'm here for you and to settle down. So Jeremy's going to have Bullet there, keeping him comfortable. And then they'll take, Missouri. Okay. I was like, it's not MI because that's Mississippi. But so for those of you who don't know, Jeremy's service dog, his name is Bullet. Now I have Bullet's brother, who is Gunner. So the two brothers I have a companion dog, so to speak. And then, so he's got Bullet and I've got Gunner. So we thought that was, Michigan, there it is. Yeah, as you know, our friend Cool Granddaddy Sweet says, hard to comment. I've been there, especially when I lost my back and ability to golf, and we sometimes find our way back. But hearing Jeremy and watching all my favorite YouTubers helps. So one of the things that Jeremy and his buddies did at the Dom was they played golf. And, so Jeremy has got Jeremy played basically one-handed because, well, go ahead and tell your story kind of your injury to your arm and, with their attempts of trying to get you back,
Okay.
Yeah, I think, oh yeah, look at this. I'm suffering from ageism right here because, we all got to help Gramps. He's the eldest.
Real briefly, I was in the hospital with pancreatitis, and I ended up somehow my tendon or my bicep tendon detached completely. So they took me to the VA, or the VA doctor scheduled the surgery, opened me up, looked at it, closed me back up, and said he performed the surgery, and he never did.
Yeah.
When he opened me up, he actually severed some of the nerves that control my hand. And so that started really to snowball everything, because what I've done for the last 15 years is I was a jeweler. I fabricated everything, cut my own stones with the help of some friends of mine. But yeah, so when I was at the Dom, one of the things that I was angry about was what they had done to my arm, because I had no use of it.
Yep.
So my psychiatrist did some research, and she actually was able to see the notes and brought it to the attention that no, he had not done the surgery. He was not capable of it. So she fast-tracked it and got me seen outside of the VA. The specialist was able to do a lot of repair work to the nerve damage that they caused. But I'm left with limited use of my right arm and my right hand. So I had to learn how to bowl left-handed, which is pretty cool. I always thought I was cool because I actually fished where I held the rod in my right hand and reeled left-handed, and I never had to switch hands. And now all of a sudden I'm having to fish left-handed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how's this going to work? So that's what I've been struggling with and learning over this last year is how to set the hook right, using basically the one arm. But I found a freedom in that because I can do things with both hands that I could never have done if I didn't suffer this injury. So at the end of the day, I can still catch fish as long as I can get them to bite, get them in the boat. So for me, it's been a blessing and a disguise to just show me what I'm capable of.
Yeah. You found yourself that you're not really as disabled as you thought you were. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to be 100%, but for somebody to qualify for the national championship, then to turn around and make the top 100 and then end up 86th in the country, that's not a bad year for your first time out fishing in kayak bass fishing tournaments.
We'll try to do better next year.
Yeah, we can work on it.
Right.
But that being said, you're going to fish some more of our local in-state tournaments with some of the clubs that we have, plus the KBF state challenges. And, we're just really looking forward to get. But I mean, who knew back in April, when we hit C-Tick for the first time and we're out laying a smackdown on a bunch of 3.5 and 4.5 pounders all day. And, it's just one of those things where everything from April to October was a flash. And then next thing you know, we're heading down to Kentucky Lake and, meeting some of the bigwigs of the sport, Gene Jensen, Chad Hoover, Christine Fisher, Guillermo, Casey Reed, Alex Miller. I mean, these
Don't
dudes
forget
that are
Lynn.
like,
I mean,
No,
Lynn Yester. I mean, no,
yeah,
the people we got to meet this year have been
Yep.
so awesome. And I mean, yeah, I never expected to be welcomed into such a nice community. And I
Yep.
mean, it's everybody I'm meeting nowadays. So that for me is huge.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe these are the same. They're bass anglers, whereas on the boat in the boater world, that's about the most cutthroat stuff you can ever find.
Well,
But it is what it is.
Half the reason I left fishing was because the
Yeah.
guys in the bass boats. I mean, it got ridiculous. I remember I was on Patoka and shoot, I can't. Ish Monroe damn near
Yep.
ran me over and acted like I was actually stationary fishing on a point, and he almost hit me, and then acted like it was my fault because I was fishing that point. I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, it's like sometimes they're a little too big for their heads, and we're just out fishing and having fun. You can do all you can have your tournaments, but yeah, I feel you there.
Well,
But again, with Freedom Squad, we have a lot of plans coming up, or we're going to be making a lot of plans at least, and then kind of keep growing the community that we have and encouraging others in other states and areas to do the same thing. Bond together, get together, go fish with each other, and then build up your own little communities as well. And sometimes it's just a matter of when you're fishing, just striking up a conversation with somebody. That's how you and Sam at Searcher Match on the water. And then, next thing you know, we're fishing together. And what Matt and Bobby doesn't know is we met another guy yesterday when we were picking up my second trailer. And he actually happens to be one of the Indiana kayak angler coordinators and is really good on the White River. So he's going to show us some areas that we've never been come springtime and probably put us on some real smallies. So Bobby probably hadn't heard that one yet, so you could hear that for the first time. But we're going to go hit up some of the other ramps, and yeah, there we go. Got his attention now.
Yeah, you can bet Bobby will be involved in that one.
Yep. So yeah, we met a dude. The guy that I bought this trailer from was really cool. We sit there and probably talk to him out in the cold for 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, so he's gonna take us around in some of the waters north up there, and there you go. and go get after some of those smallies too. But so you mentioned earlier that you're going to be doing stuff with Monster Bass. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Okay.
Well, tell us how it started, and then tell us how it's going.
So it all started last year when Rick had some tournaments where you could win a subscription or gift card, stuff like that. And I ended up winning first a subscription for a year. And then the next month I won a $50 gift card. And everything that I saw, I liked. And so I was like, I'm gonna try something out of the box to force myself to get out of the apartment and to go fish, but also to really fine tune the things I know how to do well. And so I made a commitment without talking to anybody at Monster Bass or anything that I was going to fish for the next 2023 season with all Monster Bass baits that either come in the box or they carry on the website. So it can be any brand that they put in the box or their own brand. Anything I can get through them, I'm going to fish. Well, then Rick's like, get a hold of me. I want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So I messaged or ended up calling him. And he said, I would like to help you out. What would you, what kind of help would you need? And I said, well, I can't afford much. So what I'd like you to do is pick 2 or 3 baits that you want to promote, and I will actually purchase those, take them out on the water, and then I'll talk about them. And he goes, no, that's not how me helping you works. So we came to an agreement where I'm going to be partnered with Monster Bass. And it's kind of one of these things where Rick put together a box of some apparel of one of every hard bait that they have that Monster Bass makes. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was like Christmas come early. So now actually right here, this lunker stick, this is, I knew that was going to happen. We talked about it. But I will be testing this one. And what I may end up doing is I have a feeling I'm going to put my Dobbins rods down for all of next year and only fish with lunker sticks. So me and Rick are going to be talking about it. I paired the one that you brought up with my, what is that? The Shimano. I can already tell it's going to be my worm rod. And you know how particular I am about my worm rod. If there's one rod, this is going to be it. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing too, is if there's anybody that's actually qualified to evaluate a rod in the $100, $120, $30 price point, Jeremy will be able to give a good valuation on it, because Jeremy has fished nothing but G. Loomis. How old are his original rods that he still fishes? I think he bought 23 years ago. And he's liked them so much that he's never swapped them out. Now, Jeremy has also tested, and played with some of the different Dobbins lines. But for Rick to actually outfit him with some rods coming up, Jeremy would be a good person to actually beat them up and give valuable feedback, so that, Michael Bradley said, old school Corrado on that lunker stick. Yeah, that's an old school Corrado. I told Jeremy, hey, if you ever, but Jeremy actually got that. Well, I'm not even tell that story. You tell that story. Where'd that Corrado come from, bro?
That actually came from one of your subscribers who messaged you and got my address and sent me a box. And I'll tell you what, guys, it helped, because I caught a lot of fish on that reel this year. That's kind of why it got put on the lunker stick, because I have such confidence in it. Now, I throw a frog on braid on that one, or either which way, I can go between the two. And so I'm set.
So, I mean, that again shows the fishing fam community that we've built up here. We've had people send in rods, reels. You guys have sent more tackle than Jeremy and I knew how to give away last year. And, if you guys remember from a couple of months back, I got a box in with a bunch of rods, a bunch of reels, and Jeremy probably gave those away to 5 or 6 different people, and still has more to give away as we run into other veterans that he was with either at the Dom, or who, we run into coming up down the road. So, I mean, the support and the love from this community, has just been outstanding. But, that's really why I wanted to have Jeremy on tonight, because, again, this is a way for him to build up that confidence. And, Jeremy, 6 months ago, did you ever think you'd be sitting on one of my live streams outside of just being in the chat and able to come on and talk for almost an hour?
It was hard for me to be in chat on my phone. I mean, so for me to be here, it's kind of weird. But excuse me, I'm talking. But no, there again, it's helping me.
Yep.
Okay, I know he knows I'm stressed from being on here, and
Yeah.
when I ignore him, he escalates until I pay attention. So, but yeah, I totally lost my train of thought.
No, but it's good because, like I said, you've gone from, being in my chat and supporting me and then calling me after and talking about live streams and the people that we had on to being more and more, active in the chat and talking to people, getting to know, Josh and Sly and Cairo and everybody else that you guys chat with in the chat. And then, next thing you know, you're in the live streams for Monster Bass and Debo's channel and other places. And just you're taking those little steps, exposing, a little more each time and building that confidence and, just kind of building your way up. And then if you would have told me that I would have had you in a hall full of people at the national championship and you would have stayed in that room more than 10 minutes, I would have been shocked. But you popped out with Matt here and there to take smoke breaks and give yourself a break, but a little bit at a time. But man, you did amazing down there.
Well, one of the things that you just reminded me of is if you actually look up the definition of agoraphobia, it's a fear of embarrassment or panic. So always you build it up in your head and then you're embarrassed to even try it. And then I realized after talking to people in chat, they didn't care. They liked me for me. And so there again, everybody in chat made it easy for me to now come on here and be here, because without them, no. I mean, I will say, RJM Fishtails, I watched your video today and thank you for that. I encourage everybody to go check it out. I would never do that, but it really hit me today, and I had to let him know since he's in chat.
Well, and it's kind of funny because guess who's going to be our guest this time next week? Yes, we're going to have Mr. RJM Fishtails on the live stream next week. And then I think this week coming up, I'm going to be on with Wendell Fishing. I think that's this week. It's either this week or next week. And then the week after RJM, it's going to be Wendell Fishing. And then after that, I'm going to flood you guys with some more guests. But yeah, so it'll be RJM coming up and then Wendell Fishing. Make sure you guys check out their channels, but we're going to have both of those guys on to tell their stories and how they got into YouTube and fishing and so forth and so on. But tonight I had to start with Jeremy because, the other, Jeremy along with Matt OEF5 are, the kind of the constants with, the Fishing with Gramps channel. If we get me and Matt going, we can sit there and host and talk all night. But I really wanted Jeremy to be able to come on tonight and tell his story and, have you guys get to know him. And like I said, he's been, we've been talking about doing this for quite a long time. And it's, today finally arrived. Can you believe you've been sitting here for like 53 minutes? And
no, and I'm reading chat and I love the fact I can sit here and be on here and know what people are saying. And everybody, I appreciate all the kind words. And that's why you're right. It's family. So
yeah, it sure is.
This will make it, because I know Rick wants me to be on Monster Bass. And so I'm going to commit to that. And I know I'll hit Debo up at some point. And just, I never would have thought, because, there's so much that I love about this that now I'm able to do it. And I also have to tell everybody else, I wouldn't be doing this without my brother, because he literally brought me a computer and the camera. The only thing I had to get was a microphone, and he set it up to give me this opportunity. And so, yeah, bro, I appreciate you.
Well, I'm sitting here texting Dad because I know he's probably smiling and grinning from ear to ear watching you on his big screen, and super proud of what you were able to do tonight. So, yep. But I am so glad. I'm so glad that you were able to join us tonight too, because as a lot of people, we talk about a lot of different veterans issues, and often the most common thing comes up are numbers and things like that too. But I'll tell you guys what, Chad Hoover and I have been talking, and it seems like there's always so much focus on numbers, and numbers are just that. But everything doesn't always have to be sad or depressive or things like that. Tonight we're showing that positive side of friends, family, fellowship, freedom squad, groups of people getting together, supporting each other and helping each other, makes the world a better place. And you will hear people, whether they're veterans or not, because we all know we've suffered around this globe the last couple of years dealing with a pandemic and all kinds of other things going on, and bad economies, so forth and so on. But you know what? Sometimes it's just best to put it all aside if you can. Get with your bros, your fam, your sisters, and just go fish or play golf or bowl. Whatever your thing is, get together, get with people you like to be around, be kind to one another. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Welcome other people in, support each other, and let's make this place a little bit better as much as we possibly can. Because
before you go, I'm going to blow Chad up. Okay, Chat, for those of you who have stayed with us, I have got something I got to show you. Okay, this is show and tell. I let him do it in the beginning, but can y'all tell me who this guy is? Any guesses? And then, of course, I'll show you what I used to look like back in the day. So, as you can see, I'll show you one more too. This was my first ever double on my boat.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, they're Polaroids. I know some of you may not know what they are. But finding that picture of my brother, back in the old boat, it's got to get blown up and put on the wall. That's just, it's memory. So I had to share them with y'all.
Oh, yeah. Bassin with Big Malone wants to know what your PB is, Jeremy.
11.6.
And what lake was that out of?
Lake Fork, baby.
Yep.
That's my lake.
And you were there when I caught my 8-pounder. What lake was that in?
That was Lake Fork as well, off the bridge.
That's right. We were fishing that bank
I
off the
thought I
bridge.
had a picture of it, but
I'm going to have to go through my stuff because I think maybe you gave that to me, and that might be like in my box or something. I'll have to dig that up too, because I think it was that maybe in one of that same day where it wasn't the same day you took that picture, but that was that old Columbia shirt that I used to fish out of all the time because it was made for fishing in the summertime. But yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. But yeah, what's a Polaroid?
Yeah, and to think I have lost big fish to where when I think about my PB was 11.6. I've lost fish that were so much bigger than that.
Oh yeah,
it's almost scary, But Lake Fork has got some huge fish in it. So.
Now, do you remember what bait I was throwing? You remember what bait I was throwing when I caught that 8-pounder?
Probably a spinnerbait.
Yep, good old. Always.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to tell the story about when you hit me in the head with the spinnerbait and knocked me out. But yeah, if you ever go fishing with Gramps, don't stand next to him because you'll catch one to the temple. Right there, man, just knocked me out.
I was winging back to let that baby fly. Oh yeah, and it was probably one of them Lake Forest spinnerbaits too. Them
Right.
big old tanks. Yep. Oh man. Well, bro, you know what? I'm so glad you were able to join us tonight. We're at about an hour. That leaves us about 35 minutes till Debo comes on. But Grant just got home, and I need to go say hey before Debo goes live. So, you want to wrap us up with anything before we get on out of here?
All I got to say is thank all of you guys for being here and for the support and the love you've shown me. I'm one of the ones that was saved by people like you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And, we conveyed, a lot of people don't realize when we were down with Chad for the weekend discussing veteran stuff, that discussion was literally probably 2 hours of the whole 3 or 4 days. Speaking of the devil, so Mr. Hoover just popped in, but we were going down there to talk about veterans issues and things like that, and things we got coming up in the works. But realistically, over the 3 days that we were down there, that was maybe a few hours of the discussion. What the amazing part of being down there, we just talked. I mean, we started the night by sitting around a campfire, telling stories, talking fish, and doing all of that. And that's basically what we did most of the time we were down there, was just talk, getting to know Chad, getting to know his daughter, talking about different, issues and things and how we wanted to work together, how Freedom Squad could help Chad with what he's doing with fish ops. And, it was amazing. It was like OEF is saying, it was food, fun, friendship, and fellowship. And just, folks being folks without any kind of stress or angst or worry about what was going on in the world. We just relaxed and had it was a good time. And it was like Chad says, it was really what we all needed. Yeah, because a lot of people just deal with a lot of various stress. And sometimes just being able to hang out, chill out, not worry about things made life so much better. So that being said, like I said, me and Chad kick off our weight loss contest next Saturday we're going to start with the kickoff of the Army-Navy game. And then we're going to work on focusing on driving each better to get healthier and drop some pounds, gain some strength, get healthy, and have a good little fun competition while we're doing it. But in the future, like I said, we're going to talk a lot about the knucklehead bass fishing side of KBF. But like I said at the beginning of the show, go to kayakbassfishing.com, join up, get you a free account, and stay tuned for all of the challenges that we're going to have coming up about, OEF. What we're going to do is we're going to do probably on Instagram during the Army-Navy kickoff. We're just going to do a little quick video of us standing on the weight. I'm sure he's going to be stuffing his pockets full of quarters and nickels and chugging water, wrap some extra donuts around his waist to make sure he's all nice and chunky, fluffy monkey before he gets on the scale. Me, I'm going to be working out all this week already, starting it. So the second that I step on that scale, I'm good. Yeah. So you guys are going to see a lot of comments. And I told Chad, make sure you add me on Facebook and Instagram, so when I start dropping the schmack talking, that you can see it and your son's not filtering it out of the way. I want to make sure you see everything you got coming to you as we're going through this Army-Navy game of our own. So, yeah, be ready. But again, everybody out there, if you know somebody who wants to join in, it's going to be on Fishing Chaos. It's a good way to get to learn the app if you are going to join us in the fun activities coming up this spring and summer, because we're going to have the fishing challenges again. We're going to have some Dink Slayer challenges. And Chad, here's an idea that me and Jeremy were talking about, because you reminded me of this in one of your videos when you talked about when you talk about your personal least. So we think the Dink The dink thing should be the 5 smallest fish that somebody could catch and put on a scale. I don't know if he could calculate that in Fishing Chaos or not, but having a challenge where you try to catch the 5 smallest bass, I think that would be amazing. But again, you guys stay tuned, whether you fish from a bank or a kayak. Be prepared for a lot of these challenges, because we're going to do a lot of what we did last year, and we're going to work on getting a bunch of cool prizes and things like that too. But again, the goal is to promote kayak bass fishing. And if you guys heard Sly Fox earlier saying he can't wait to meet up with us, I've already told Sly Fox that I have a spare kayak and that I'm going to gift that to him this spring when we can get together. Sly Fox has been an awesome supporter of this channel. He paid money to ship me lead out of his own pocket so that I can make some baits when I was first starting up with Do It, and I couldn't find lead anywhere. So I definitely wanted to be able to pay that back to him. So I am gifting him. It's a Sun Dolphin, but it'll get him on the water, get him started, and get him, in this. And then if he wants to trade up later on or win one, then he can do that. But he was one of the first ones who jumped in the Catch 22 program over here in Ohio last year. And I thank him for that. And I am going to, like I said, I'm gifting our other extra kayak to Sly Fox, because he's the first one to jump in the chat, the first one to comment. We all know how much grief he gives me about the Christmas party going Bad Frog, because he's the one who caught a bass on it and got the prize from Rick. So it doesn't, but that's what I'm saying, buddy. I know it didn't hurt you to send out the lead, but I'm telling you how much I appreciate what you did and the timing of it. Thank you so much. And again, that's why I want to make sure that you get this kayak that's no longer being used and can get you on the water. The Marines clear the path for the Army. So let's jump back and let's go back a little bit of history. When we talk about America's Navy, you might think about, the old wooden ships and the Constitution. But if you think about it, the first Navy was the Army. What are you talking about, Gramps? Well, how the hell do you think George Washington crossed the Potomac? In a boat, paddled by soldiers. Oh, what about the Marines? Oh, the Marines stormed the beach. We know what the Marines are good for. But who stormed the beach at Normandy? Oh, wait, that would be the United States Army. And so what does that leave us with? The Air Force? Guess where they come from? The U.S. Army Air Corps. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to America's original branch, the branch that founded the United States of America, there can be only one United States Army. With that, we bid you a farewell from this Army veteran, that Army veteran, and all the rest of them in the live stream. We will leave you all with a hoo-ah and a good night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Jeremy, thanks for coming out and hanging out. You did amazing. I'm so proud of you. I can't tell you how much it touches my heart to have you in a live stream tonight. For everybody out there, yeah, we know it's wintertime, but I will say the same thing every time. Get outside when you can. Make some memories, because someday it's what we have. But make some memories, one cast at a time. Love you guys. See you next week. Take care.